Hello everyone, welcome to this channel. Today we would be simulating the differential amplifier using LTspice tool. Let us start designing the circuit in LTspice. Click on Components, select PMOS4, which is a P-channel MOSFET transistor with substrate connection. Place this particular component on the schematic. Now in order to mirror, we have to click Ctrl plus E in order to mirror the PMOS. Similarly, again click on Components. Now we have to select NMOS4, which is a N-channel MOSFET transistor with explicit substrate connection. Now place this particular NMOS in the schematic. Now to mirror, press Ctrl plus E and place the component. Now consider that we have to move a particular component in LTspice. Click on the move symbol and you can move any of the component in the LTspice. Now again go to components and select NMOS. Place that particular NMOS on the schematic and use the Ctrl plus E, that is the mirror function. Now place another NMOS and use the Ctrl plus E mirror function. So now we have the required PMOS and the NMOS transistor for the differential amplifier design. Next, click on wire and we must do the desired connections. Connect the source of first PMOS to the source of a second PMOS and connect the drain of first PMOS to the drain of the second PMOS. Now we require the input pin which would be VDD and VSS. So click on label net and select connect the drain of PMOS to the drain of NMOS. Similarly, a drain of PMOS to the drain of NMOS of M3 transistor, and from the drain make the following connection. Click on wire and now connect the source of NMOS, that is M3, to the source of NMOS M4. Click on label net and now we have to define the input, so we will define that as Vin and make it as an input and place this particular pin on the schematic. Similarly, again click on the label net and define that as V2 and select that as an input. Place this particular pin on the schematic. Now connect this particular input to the gate of NMOS click on wire and now connect the source of M4 NMOS to the drain of M6 NMOS and the gate of M6 NMOS to the gate of M5 NMOS. Now we have to define a label net. We will define this port type as VSS, which will be input port. Place this particular pin on the schematic. Click escape. Now click on wire and connect the M5 of NMOS to the source of M6 NMOS and connect the VSS to the M5 and M6 and VDD to the M1 and M2 of the PMOS. Now click on wire, connect the substrate of M3 NMOS to M4 NMOS and define that as VSS. Click on wire and make all the substrate connections as shown in this tutorial. Now we are done with all the substrate connection, but in this example we would be using the BSIM 4 based model. So what we need to do is that we have to change the model name. So right click on M1 PMOS and now you can see in this particular folder there is a BSIM4 model file. Now open that and you can see that the model name is n_1 micro. So we have to name p_1 micro in this particular schematic and define the length as 1 micro and width as 15 micro and click OK. Similarly, right click and change the model name as p_1 micro and length as 1 micro and width as 15 micro. Right click, change this as n_1 micro, length as 1 micro and width as 3 micro. Click OK. Similarly, right click n_1 micro, length as 1 micro, width as 3 micro. So make the changes as I show in this tutorial. Right click again n_1 micro, length as 1 micro, width as 4.5 micro. Click OK. Now we have defined the name of transistor based on our BSIM4 model file. So now in the schematic we have to include that particular BSIM4 model file. If we don't include that particular BSIM4 model file, then we would end up an error. So go to edit, click on spice derivative. Now type dot include bsim4 underscore models dot text and click OK. Now click on wire and we have to define our output for this particular differential amplifier circuit. So click on labelnet and type out and port type as output. Place this on the schematic and make the following connection. Now we must save this particular circuit. So what we need to do is that we have to save this particular circuit in the folder where the BSIM file model has been saved. So now I have created a folder called as differential amplifier. So save this file as differ underscore amp. Okay. Uh, next Next in this tutorial is creating a symbol. Click on hierarchy and create new symbol. Click on draw. Now click on rectangle and define the symbol. So you can draw a rectangle or you can draw a triangle. It's left to you how you want to define a symbol. Next click on line and draw the following lines. We have to define our input pin. So make this particular symbol as I show in this particular tutorial. So click on edit and click on add pin port. Now we have to define the pin properties. Define the label as V1 and click on write. Select OK and place this on the line which we have drawn. Similarly, we have to do for all the pins which we had mentioned in our schematic, which is IDC, VDD, VSS and V2. Now we have to save this particular symbol. Click on Save As. Now ensure that the particular symbol is saved in the folder called as my symbol. So what I have done is that I have created a folder called as my symbol. Now click on New Schematic. We will perform the simulation of the differential amplifier. Click on Components and double click on my symbol folder and select the differ_amp symbol. Place this particular component on the schematic. Now we have to perform either the transient analysis, the DC analysis, or the AC based analysis for the differential amplifier circuit. So now go to components and select the voltage sources. So the voltage source for VDD and VSS needs to be selected. So place this particular V1 and V2 component, and then also we have to define the input source for this circuit, which is V33. Now what we can do is that we will change this particular voltage source as VDD and VSS for our convenience purpose, and the V3 as V1. Click on Wire and make all the required connections. Connect VDD to VDD pin and VSS to VSS pin, and V1 to V1 pin. Click on component. Now we have to define the current source. So we place this particular current source in the schematic, and we can change that particular current source to IDC if required. Now connect the VDD to the current source and the current source to the pin which we had mentioned in our schematic. Click on ground symbol and place the necessary ground connection as in this particular schematic. Click on wire and ground the V2 pin. Now right click on VDD and define the value as 2.5 volt, and right click on VSS and define the value as minus 2.5 volt. Right click on the current source and define the DC value as 30 microampere. Now define the output connection as shown in this particular schematic. Now we have to define our voltage source, that is V1. Before that we have to define the BSIM model. So we have to do similarly. We have to include BSIM 4 underscore models dot text and place this particular text on the schematic. Now to perform the AC analysis for this particular differential amplifier circuit, right click on V1 and click on Advanced. Click on Sine and select the DC offset as 0 volt, amplitude as 5 milli, frequency as 1 kHz, and click on OK. Now go to Edit, click on Spice Analysis, click on AC Analysis, type of sweep as octave, number of points per octave around 20, start frequency 7, stop frequency as 150, click on OK. Now save this particular symbol or particular schematic, okay, and click on Run. Click on Output. you can see the AC analysis for your differential amplifier circuit. I request you to subscribe to my channel below. Thank you for watching this video.